Howdy y'all, welcome to my channel. Today I am participating in the Mixed Media Madness Hop, and I am going to show you how I turned die cuts of leaves into these mono prints using just the die cuts and along with some paint and some pages and of course my gel press. So let's hop along, and this video is also part of my Dies R Us inspiration team project for this week. As a member of Dies R Us, I always come out with a video twice a month showcasing how to use die cuts, and this time I'm showing you how to use die cuts to create these prints. So we're going to start out by grabbing some cardstock, and this for me is actually a scrap of paper because I work with 12 by 12 paper as opposed to 8.5 by 11, and then I have to cut it down to 8.5 by 11 in order to make cards. So we are going to die cut these leaves out, and they're going to help us create the impression of regular fall leaves. Yeah. We're going to use our die cut machine, so we are going to grab our mat and our cutting plates, and we're just going to roll this through. See how that did. Yeah, that looks like it worked out. I like these die cuts because they have the veining that you would see on leaves, so it'll really help us out with the illusion of having leaves. And then we're going to use our jelly plate to help us make an impression. But also, since we're going to be using our jelly plate, that means that, well, our die cuts will also be taking in some of that paint that we're going to be using. So we're going to get a couple of different cards from these die cuts. So I've grabbed a couple of colors that I think are fallish colors. And then we're going to place our die cuts back on this little plate. So if you don't have these kind of die cuts, I will provide a link in the description box to similar die cuts that can be found on the Dies R Us website. If I can actually find these die cuts, I will also provide a link to them in the description box below. But hey, if you actually live in one of those environments where you can actually pick up some fall leaves, that would be awesome. If you wanted to do that, you could do the real version of what I'm trying to do, basically. So we are going to start out with quinacridone violet, and since this is a metal tube, we are going to squeeze our paint out from the bottom. Actually, you know what? Yeah, that's getting on my nerves. So I'm going to bring in the mat that I normally use when I do watercolors. So this is the mat that I normally use whenever I'm working with watercolors. And we are going to take this piece and we are going to continue to run some of the acrylic paint onto our little jelly plate. This is a 5x7 jelly plate. The reason I have a 5x7 is because I like to make A2 size cards, and this helps me to do that. Okay, so my brayer is by Plaid. They are known better for making Mod Podge. So we're going to start out by putting some of this down just to get a print. That looks nice. Now I'm going to bring in some vintage photo. This is Holtz Distress Paint, which is also an acrylic paint. And you just have to shake the bottle up because it has, well, there's a metal ball in there. I think it's metal. I at least know there's a ball in there because you can hear it rattle. Oh, and we need to try to clean our brayer off just a little. So we are going to bring in some vintage photo. And brayer that. So now what we're going to do is lay down some of our leaves. We're just going to sporadically lay them down. Now we're going to bring this back in and we're going to pull that print. So there you go. And now we can move our leaves. And as you can see, they also have taken some of the paint onto them. I'm going to bring the leaves back in a little later, but right now we're going to try to see if we can pull a sort of like a ghost print. We will bring in some Deco Art white acrylic paint to help us out with our ghost print. So now we're just going to use this sheet to help us pull that print. So yeah, we pulled a bit of a ghost print right there. Now we can go back in and put a bit more paint down. I'm going to bring in Liquitex Basics Burnt Sienna in. That's probably plenty. So we're going to pull that print. So we still have a bit of the burnt sienna there, but I think that's okay. Now we're going to bring in Mermaid Lagoon, which is also a Tim Holtz Distress Paint. And we're just going to run that through with our brayer. Then we're going to put some of these leaves down. And then we can pull that print. So yeah, that looks really nice. Now we can pick up our leaves. Then we can go back in with the white and pull that print. So that looks kind of nice too. I'm gonna bring in some distress paint in Candied Apple. Now we can pull this print. Oh, I like that. That's a nice contrast. So now we're just going to remove these leaves and we can pull this print. So you don't always have to put the white paint over it. You can just pull the print and put it onto a piece that already has some paint on it. That looks really nice. I think that's a good number of prints that we got, plus we got a bit of color on our die cuts. So I'm just going to bring in some ground espresso, distress paint, along with some raw sienna this time. And we're going to see how well that lets us sprayer on. So now we're going to bring our leaves back in, just a few of them. And we're going to pull this print. Now we can bring this in and see if we can pull a print. I think that's kind of lovely. So I'm actually done pulling prints today, but so as you can see, there's still a lot of paint left on my gel plate. So what are we going to do? Okay, so we are going to bring in some packing tape, and that's going to help us to clean off our gel plate. Just by doing that. And apparently we got some paint on the edges. So since it's still wet, we're just gonna bring a kitchen towel in to help us clean that off. And you can clean your jelly plate however often you want to. I know some people that do this. So as you can see, we've gotten our plate much cleaner than it was earlier. And if you want, you can even do this technique on your brayer. So I will be back with some finished cards using these prints that we made, okay? So I hope y'all enjoyed watching as I worked on some prints today using the jelly plate and of course our die cuts. As you can see, the die cuts do leave a very nice impression, just like regular leaves would. Here's another print of the actual veins in the leaves, and these are the leaves that we used to do all those prints today. So if you like what you saw, click the like button. If you have any friends that are into gel printing, feel free to share this video with them. Also, remember, this is a video hop, so there will be a lot of different ways to do mixed media on the channels that are participating. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them in the comment section down below. If you want to stay in touch with my channel and be updated about when I get new videos, click the subscribe button and the bell icon right next to it. That way YouTube will let y'all know what's going on my channel. Okay, so I hope y'all stay safe, stay healthy, stay crafty, have a great day. Bye!